Hi guys, uh, just an idea for troubleshooting some issues. As you can see, I've built myself a test track, which is a separate story. Recently I bought a used Intermountain tunnel motor SD40T-2, we'll just call it a tunnel motor, that had a broken half frame. So I got it for very cheap, and I had some extra frame parts and was able to find one that fit this guy. Switched it over to DCC. I had it running nicely. I had to take it apart and lube it up and stuff to get it running on DC, but it was running fine. I had to dig out the corners or the slots in these areas to get it to actually fit in there. I had to file away for a little while to get it to fit. And now I've got this situation where we've got power through, we've got direction on the board for the lights, but if I go to, where are we? Here we go. Nothing's happening. So obviously one of the concerns I have is whether or not, well, I should explain, one of the tabs seemed a little bit off. So before I go digging in there again and messing about with the motor tab that comes over, this is a Digitrax decoder, and they have those two tiny little, I don't know what the point is of them. Well, there's the two little spots there that you can see through them if you're close enough, and that's the top side of the contacts for the motor tabs, the two tabs that come over from either side. Now, I don't want to, assume that it's the decoder or something else. So to help diagnose, what I've got is one of these tiny little LEDs that also has tiny little contacts. And what I'm going to do, or I've already done, hopefully you guys will see this, put it over there. I've still got the speed set for 3. Shouldn't matter what it's at, just so long as it's not 0. Because if you're not giving it any power to the motor, it's not going to work. And I've got to use my geek goggles to see this properly. So hopefully my head's not in the way. Right, so we've got power going through to the motor, at least from the decoder. So I know my problem is either the motor, which was working fine, or I don't have that contact in the tab. So I know where my issue is. I can now go in. I'm not going to curse and swear at Digitrax that they make garbage or anything. That's not their problem. It's just I've got to adjust that tab. So hopefully that, if you have some of these kicking around, I got some of these. They're very cheap, very small, for eventually adding, zooms in, for eventually adding ditch lights for locomotives that don't have them. So I actually have exactly 10 of these kicking around just now, and I ought to give that a try, test my theory, so I'm able to diagnose my problem a little bit better. So I'll power that down. Just an idea for you guys, if you happen to run into a problem, you've got something to test it with that's small enough to get into those two ports without touching anything else. Anyway, take care.